Joe Weider's not a guy that you can sum up in a sentence. Joe Weider's one of those guys like to bodybuilding. He's like what Malcolm X and Martin Luther King was to the civil rights movement. I mean, he's like what JFK was as president of the United States. He's an iconic figure that you cannot put his body of work on one sheet of paper because he was so many things to so many different people. I mean, he came with a vision. He not only accomplished, one of his goals in terms of starting this publishing company, which is called Weider Enterprises, but he gave birth to and spawned numerous careers that, were able to allow these athletes to become more than just bodybuilders. I mean, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best. I mean, this is a guy that, Joe Weider notwithstanding, would have still been in Austria, and he would have just been a guy with a funny last name. He was able to, through his work with Joe and mentorship from Joe, go on to do great things as an individual. And those things were paid forward to inspire people like Lou Ferrigno. And Arnold says, guys like Reg Park, who were inspired by Joe Weider. Joe Weider's inspired so many people in so many different areas and ethnicities. I mean, Reg Park was South African, and Sergio Oliva won the Olympia 3 times, was from Cuba, and Arnold was from Austria, and Franco Columbo's from Sardinia, Italy. I mean, Dorian Yates is from England. I mean, this is a guy that impacted globally athletes as individuals who then inspired thousands, and if not maybe millions, through a vision and a dream. And through the help of his brother Ben Weider, they were able to form this thing called the International Federation of Bodybuilding. And through that, Joe's magazines, he's got supplement products, he had equipment, he created the video series, the Weider Training Principles. Again, he can't receive any more accolades, basically, because at 90 years old, in selling his stake in the Weider publishing company back in 2004, he's done more with one lifetime than anybody can do with 2 or 3 lifetimes. And there's not a bodybuilder on this planet that's lifting weights that doesn't know who Joe Weider is and what he's meant to our sport and our industry. And for that, he'll forever be remembered. I think when Joe Weider is gone, definitely the landscape will change. His brother Ben passed away in 2008, and the bodybuilding world mourned a great loss in Ben Weider, but it still went forward. Joe Weider, as long as he has breath, people will continue to respect his idea and his foundation. When Joe is gone, I'm not sure that it's not going to get fragmented in some way. There's people coming into the game today that aren't historians of the sport that will never have the chance to meet someone like Joe Weider, who was a bodybuilder's bodybuilder. I mean, this is a guy that would go into a photo shoot and rub oil on the guys. I mean, he'd get his hands dirty. He would double check the photographer, the highly paid photographer getting the cover shots. He would correct them on their work, and that's what they do for a living. And yet, here's a guy like Joe he'd be in the gym working out next to you. So I think that we and the world is better off with Joe in it. And it will definitely change when he is no longer here. But the one thing that will live on beyond Joe and everyone, I believe, is that it started and ended with this guy, Joe Weider, in terms of getting America fit and then ultimately changing the world and the way they see bodybuilders and people that lift weights.